What's up? What's up? It's your man Harkon Ajala, aka the Enlightened Bad Boy Genius, at your service as always. I am your uncensored, untamed host of Smart Black People TV. And listen, I know you've heard talk about it. Blexit, Candace Owens, Kanye West. This whole question of should smart black people walk away from the Democratic Party? Well, look, the answer is actually really simple, but it might surprise you. So let's jump into it 100% bullshit free right now. All right, this is an interesting question. It's not something that's particularly new, although the quote unquote Blexit movement that was started and spearheaded and promoted by our good friend, Fox News media darling, and the black love of the alt-right's heart, Candace Owens. She has started this movement, which she envisions to be a mass exit of black people from the Democratic Party. She tried to get Kanye West on board, although he's disavowed that. And she's got some other people who are cheerleading this with her, but listen, let's unpack this way, because we got to look at this from the logical, free thinking perspective of a smart black person who wants to empower the black community. So let's think about it. Let's dissect and break down. Should smart black people walk away from the Democratic Party? Well, first off, let's break down the truth about the Blexit movement, okay? This whole idea of Blexit, black exit from the Democratic Party, is something that's been concocted by, again, our good friend Candace Owens, the darling of Fox News. And we got to be real about this, okay? First and foremost, it's no secret to anybody that black people have voted en masse for the Democratic Party for the last 40, 50 years. And I think we all pretty much know the reasons behind that. Some of it is because it's just what our parents did, but a great deal of even following along with our parents as African Americans came along with the things that were done to us, discriminatory, that were racist as African Americans in this country, and the fact that the Democratic Party positioned itself as the party that was going to fight these racist, discriminatory, and white supremacist ideals, values, and actions that were perpetrated against the black community. And we've seen that happen. It's certainly not been perfect, but we have seen that happen throughout the civil rights era, et cetera, right? Now here comes Candace Owens saying we need to make a mass exit. Here's her and other people's points. What they're saying is that the Democratic Party has become a plantation for African Americans. And what they're saying is that, what they're asserting is that black people have become like slaves to the Democratic Party. We vote for them automatically, and they take us for granted, don't deliver anything to help us, right? Just assume we're going to roll with them always. They use us to get our votes, to get elected, and then they don't do anything for the black community in the United States. And they're not held responsible to our demands, et cetera, okay? Now, there's some truth to that. And there's reasons behind it. But again, we need to keep it 100 on this Blexit movement. First and foremost, the Blexit movement, spearheaded by Candace Owens, is not about what's best for black people, okay? What it is about is creating a large platform for Candace Owens to effectively become the designated nigger whisperer for the far right, the Republican Party, the conservatives in America, the Fox News crowd, right? That's honestly what it is. Candace Owens, who was a former liberal, quote unquote, until she had this awakening one day. We'll get into that later. There's a whole nother video to be done on that. But here's the real deal, okay? All this is a hustle, and it's not even a new hustle. She knows that, especially for racist conservatives, when the policies, the positions that they're supporting, almost all seem to be diametrically opposed to the benefit and the empowerment of black people, they know in order to not be called racist, they need black faces. A black face to say, no, it's not about race, because look, that black person agrees with us. And so if you're willing to be the step and fetch it that says, yes, absolutely, I agree, it's not about race. it can be profitable for you. Again, this is not a new hustle. It's been going on for a long time. And you can tell this because if Candace Owens actually cared about black people, she'd be talking to black people. Candace Owens doesn't talk to black people. She doesn't go to black forums. She doesn't go to groups of black people. Candace Owens is always on fucking Fox News, right? And far right, alt-right, conservative websites. What she is she is a token for white people. She's always on Fox News making her points to get applause, and they're just gushing over, oh my goodness, yes, and leading her in. She's on there talking about how Black Lives Matter protesters are spoiled, entitled little whiny brats, and racism is a figment of black people's imagination, etc., etc. So understand that what Blexit is not about what's good for black people. It's about what's good for Candace Owens and her making herself be perceived as an influencer who can move black people. That's what she wants to do, so that she can turn that into cash and power. It's just that simple. She's trying to be the designated nigger whisperer for the right-wing conservatives. Just like Omarosa was holding that position in the Trump administration until she saw the light after Trump and those dudes kicked her ass out of there. See, here's the problem with Candace Owens and the Blexit proposition. What she's saying is that black people should walk away from the so-called Democratic plantation over to the Republicans. So basically, she wants black people to go from the plantation, as she calls it, to the fucking concentration death camp. Because here's the truth of the matter, and this shit isn't debatable. You can go and find this. You can go find this. These are empirical facts, okay? Empirical facts and data. The Republican Party over the last 40, 50, 60 years has not shown itself to be a friend or an advocate of African Americans and our empowerment and prosperity in this country. Okay? Here's the real deal. The Republican Party has historically opposed, over the last 50, 60, 70 years, they have historically opposed every initiative, policy, law, anything you can think of that would directly benefit the African American community. They fucking oppose it. The Republican Party is full of 99.9% of all the candidates who have been caught trying to suppress the black vote, trying to stop black people from voting. Just go look up Brian Kemp. It's happening again right now. And this has been happening for years. They don't care about us. They're trying to stop us from voting so that they can get elected. The Republican Party is filled with motherfuckers who are politicians who have been observantly and overtly racist and discriminatory in their words and their practices and deeds towards black people. Fucking Jeff Sessions, fucking Brian Kemp, David Duke ran as a Republican. Listen, ask yourself this question. Republicans say, oh, we're not racist, had nothing to do with race. Then why are all the fucking racists and white supremacists aligned with the Republican Party? Why? Do you see the KKK or the fucking alt-right nuts or the white supremacists? You ever see them supporting a Democratic candidate? The Republican Party set their own platform up this way. We didn't make them do it. They chose to do that. So to say that black people should leave the Democrats and go to the Republicans is fucking ludicrous. Anybody that tells you that is out of their fucking minds, because the Republican Party has done nothing to demonstrate that it's willing to say, hey, if you'll come to us, we will work for you. We'll deliver what the Democrats won't deliver. They're just saying, fuck y'all. And they have to do that because their base, let's be real about it, their base responds to anti-black rhetoric. Their base doesn't want black people to prosper and succeed. That's the truth of it. If it was different, they wouldn't be saying and doing that shit. So that underscores the fact that the only reason Candace Owens is saying, hey, we should go leave the Democrats and go to the Republicans, because she's trying to set herself up as the one who benefits. I'm the one who brought him, now pay me. Fine. That's her deal. So now what we need to do, though, is to really think about, if African Americans are going to walk away from the Democratic Party, let's assume we do. What should we do? All right. Well, first we got to take a couple of minutes to break down how politics really works. Okay. Here's the truth of the matter. Being a politician is about getting elected and staying elected, getting in office and staying in office. That's what it's about. Why? Because when you're elected in office, it's like a fucking kid in a candy store. It's like being the only legal weed dealer on a college campus. I mean, it's lovely. It's just unbelievable power and wealth that you can attain from simply being in office. Why? Because politicians and the government don't actually make the decisions that run this country. The super wealthy and owners and people who run massive corporations actually make those decisions. Politicians, people in the three arms of the government, they are simply the people who have their hands on the buttons. So they operate the apparatus, okay, that creates laws, policies, etc., that govern how things run in America. Wealthy people, they don't want to fucking be politicians. It doesn't pay enough, and it's a pain in the ass. Takes up too much time. They got to answer to people all the time and deal with people they feel are beneath them. They don't want to deal with that bullshit. They just want control. Why? Because they want the laws, policies, and things that are enacted in how the society is run. They want those things to give them increased advantage. That's how the system works under a capitalist American system. If you don't like it, you got to, create some other system. That's how it works. Capitalism is about the profit motive and doing whatever you can to make the most money you can. And understand this. Remember, corporations are legally bound to do whatever they have to do. Okay, that's legal, to make as much money as they can for their shareholders. So it's not like they can go, well, this would be good for our company, but it isn't good for the citizens, so we're not going to do it. No, it's not how it works. They're legally bound. Go look the shit up. It's a really fucked up system, but this is the way it is. Okay. So what happens is politicians are run by super wealthy individuals and corporations through campaign donations, because it takes money to get elected and stay elected and get reelected, right? So wealthy individuals and corporations contribute to the campaigns of politicians, and they do this in exchange. Go look up Betsy DeVos. She said it straight up. We want influence. We want shit in exchange. They do this in exchange for access. When these people are elected, they want to then come in and say, look, now that you're in there, we want influence. We want you to do things this way because it benefits us. It's that fucking simple. By the way, another thing that the conservative Supreme Court justices placed there by Republicans have done to essentially grease the wheels of this pay-for-play political system is they made it legal for corporations to donate unlimited amounts of money directly to campaigns of politicians. So corporations, businesses, etc. So they are legally able to donate as much as they want to the campaign so they can buy influence. So again, if you're a Republican or you support them, that's what you voted for. That's what you got. I guess that's what you wanted. So taking that into account, here's the real truth. If you don't have money, you don't have massive money, you really don't have any influence in politics. So understand that politics is only one tool that African Americans can use to bring about our own empowerment and prosperity. And it ain't anywhere near the top. It's just one tool. Okay. So people want to tell you that national politics especially this is the most important thing of all. No, it isn't, honestly. Not for African Americans. Because again, we don't have enough concentrated money that we can wield to buy influence of politicians. So here's basically what we have to do. We're going to walk away from the Democratic Party. It sure as fuck isn't going to be to the Republican Party. That would be stupid. Okay. What we need to do is to emotionally detach from both parties. Emotionally. One of the things I hear a lot is people saying, oh, the Democratic Party hasn't done anything for black people. Barack Obama didn't do anything for black people. Blah, blah, blah. Here's what I'm going to tell you. When you say that, what is it you mean? Like, what is it you actually want them to do? What we've got to do is we got to be specific. We got to have a specific plan or goal. We say, hey, we want this initiative enacted. A good example. We want a fund that is put together to help black people start businesses. We want a fund and a workshop or an incubator system put together federally, nationally, that will help black people start businesses. That would be a very specific thing. We say, look, we want that. If you don't enact it, then if you're against it, we're not going to vote for you. We're going to vote against you. If we put you in there and you don't enact it, then we won't vote for you again. You're on your own. We got to be very specific. And the second thing is to understand this. We got to focus on what we can control and what will give us the most bang for our buck. Okay. It ain't politics. It ain't politics. What's going to give us the most bang for our buck is creating our own economic power base. Okay. Creating our own economic power base. That will give us economic power that we can then use to influence and buy politicians like everybody else does. Is the American way and the legal way. So don't get mad at Harkon. I didn't make it that way. I think it's deplorable. But that's the law of the land. That's what people voted for. So that's the way it is. So that's really what we have to do. Don't fall for the okie doke. People are like, oh, the Democrats are playing you. Come over here so we can put you in the ovens. Come on. That doesn't even make sense. But while they're putting you in the ovens, I won't be in the oven. I'm going to get a new house because I'm the one that brought you here. Don't fall for the slave catcher. Okay. To make the slave catcher rich who's telling you, nah, come over here. Get on this boat. Plenty of food and everything over here. What we got to do is take so much focus off of national politics and put our focus on building our own economic power base. And then we can get what we want, demand what we want. That's how it's done in America. That's the American way. That's what we need to do. So fuck Candace Owens. Don't worry about all that dumb shit. Just look at the candidates, what they stand for, what their party stands for. Vote against that shit if it's directly in opposition of what works for black people. If people are in there that we voted for and they're not actually enacting the specific things that we asked them to do, then leave them on their own. That's what we got to do. That's what we need to do. Fuck Blexit and all that other dumb shit. I appreciate you being here. Make sure that you like and share this. Tell me in the comments below. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments below. Make a logical argument and maybe I'll come back and say, yeah, it's a good argument. I agree. I'll change where I'm at. But otherwise, I've looked at this shit and this is the way it is. Let me know in the comments what you think, whether you agree or disagree. Like and share this intelligent information across your social media. Make sure you subscribe because we're giving away free gifts, good shit every week to our subscribers. Thanks for being here. Remember, we got to be empowered. And to become empowered, we got to be enlightened. We got to deal with things the way they are, not the way we want them to be. So let's be enlightened. To be enlightened means to be awake. Because if you're not awake, you're asleep. And as the great Nas once said, sleep is the cousin of death, baby. Live, lux, or die. Peace. See you in the next one. Go vote. Or don't.